Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You are in the Prog Corner where today we're not going to be talking about music. Yeah, you saw the title and the thumbnail, so you know what's going on here. I'm going to be talking about my 20 favorite TV shows of all time. Yeah, because, there are four activities that take up like 95% of my life. There's sleeping, there's working, there's listening to music, and honestly, watching TV might actually occupy most of my time. Most of my waking hours are spent watching TV. I'm not gonna lie. I'm either watching TV or watching YouTube videos. It's terrible. Here are some that I did not include. Some that I thought about, but this is my list, so I'm not including Black Mirror. I'm not including Oz, 24, Stranger Things. I thought about those cop shows from the 70s like Mannix and Barnaby Jones and Cannon and Columbo. MASH didn't make the list. Dallas didn't make the list. Orange is the New Black. I never liked that one. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Arrested Development. Those are great shows. All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Saved by the Bell. I almost included that. And I'm not including any reality TV shows because all 20 would probably be reality TV shows. Hell's Kitchen, Survivor, Master Chef, 90 Day Fiance, Big Brother, RuPaul's Drag Race. Yeah, this is the stuff I watch. The Traitors, Project Runway, The Circle, Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, The Bachelor, Amazing Race, Temptation Island. Yeah, I'm that idiot that watches that kind of trash TV. Absolutely, I am. But here are the 20 TV shows that are going to be both sitcoms and 60-minute dramas included in here. And at number 20, it's the story of a lovely lady who is bringing up three very lovely girls. Oh, it's the Brady Bunch from 1969 to 1974. This blended family brought all kinds of wacky hijinks to middle America. Even though I did not come from a blended family, I could certainly relate to a lot of the topics and, the domestic stuff going on. I didn't have a maid. Who wouldn't want an Alice living in your house, man? But yeah, I grew up on the Brady Bunch. I love the Brady Bunch. I still remember all those episodes, word for word. Oh, it's crazy. At number 19, here's something a little more recent. It's The Leftovers, an HBO show that lasted only 3 seasons from 2014 to 2017. But this show was great, man. Justin Theroux, Carrie Coon, Amy Brannigan. What a great cast. Chris Zilka, Liv Tyler. Oh, man, it's so weird. 2% of the human population disappears one night, just gone. And you got a chain-smoking cult. And you got all this weird stuff going on. It's just wacky. It's wild. It's amazing. The acting's great. The writing is great. The ending maybe could have been a little bit better, but anyway, it was amazing. So good. At number 18, another of those old-time sitcoms where they told you the whole story. Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. Then one day he's shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude Texas tea. And the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars. They don't do theme songs like that anymore. In fact, TV shows don't even have theme songs much anymore, but the Beverly Hillbillies started on CBS in 1962, the year I was born, and I owe a lot. I owe a huge debt of gratitude to the Beverly Hillbillies for straightening out my sexual identity very early on because, man, oh man, Ellie Mae Clampett with those jeans and that rope belt. Oh man, Donna Douglas did me in real good. But you know what, to be fair, to be honest, it was just, the roll of the dice, just luck and fate that made it so it wasn't Max Baer Jr. I was drooling over. Yeah, I figured out because of the Beverly Hillbillies that I was heterosexual. But the reason why the Beverly Hillbillies makes this list, and the thing people just don't understand about the show, is the beauty of Jed Clampett, played by Buddy Ebsen. The dude that was in the movies did not get it at all. He was just a country bumpkin and idiot. But Jed Clampett, that character, he was a noble creature. Yeah, he was a backwoods guy, but he had a moral compass to him, and just such a great show. Forget about it. Number 17, Oh, yeah. The Sons of Anarchy. Oh, they reigned from 2008 to 2014. Charlie Hunnam became a great big old superstar because of this show. And it was a great show about motorcycle gangs in Central California, this, that, and the other thing. They do little side runs out to Ireland as they're trying to expand the MC. But it's a cast of hundreds on here, and they're all good. Katie Seagal, Ron Perlman, Kim Coates. Oh man, what a great cast! What a great show! I miss it. The finale was okay, but the spin-off, the Mayans, I wasn't crazy about that. At number 16, oh, we're going on to NBC during the 80s from 1985 to 1992. The Golden Girls ruled Miami with an iron fist. Oh, yeah, everybody knows Blanche and Dorothy. Good old Betty White. You know, he had Sophia, the grandma, being played by an actress that was actually younger than half of the cast. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. But they brought up all kinds of different topics that were kind of, third rails back in 1985, like homosexuality and, stuff like that. It was a great show that had a really good spirit to it, but also had that message, right? Had that good positive messaging. I love the Golden Girls, and you should too. At number 15, we're going back, 1974 on ABC. The whole 50s revival thing was in full swing, and Happy Days, 1974 to 1984. That first season of Happy Days, Fonzie didn't even wear a leather jacket. He was wearing a cloth jacket, right? He didn't, none of that stuff was going on. He's like a regular cast member. Richie Cunningham had a brother, Chuck, that they just wrote off for season 2. And then you get to the end of the series and, they're trying to pretend like, Ron Howard is still there talking to him on the phone. It was terrible. They should have just killed the character off. That's what you do when somebody moves on. You kill the character off. At number 14, oh, yeah, on NBC from 2005 to 2013. The American version of The Office kind of dominated television. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody cared about, the love story, and all the crazy stuff Dwight was doing and what an idiot Michael Scott was. Oh, man, it's hard to watch because Michael Scott really, there's nobody like, he would get fired in like 2 seconds flat if he were in any kind of a position of authority. But it's a fun show. I enjoy it. I even like after Steve Carell left the show, I think it got better because the Michael Scott character was getting a little hard to watch. And you got Cole's mom in there too. Oh yeah, Kimmy Schmidt. I love The Office. Great show at number 13. Oh, I love my procedural cop shows. And CBS has always been a good home for them. In 2005, there was a brand new show called Criminal Minds that ran all the way through till 2020. And it is the very reason why I never answer my door. I'll never answer my front door ever, man. Watching Criminal Minds makes you realize that every single person you meet is a serial killer. Every single man that you meet is a potential rapist. I mean, I don't trust anybody anyway, but after watching all 15 seasons of Criminal Minds, I don't trust them even more. It's a show about, the depravity of humans and what they can do to other humans. It's a fun show. I like it. Yeah. At number 12, the oldest show on this list. In 1959, CBS decided they were going to try their hand at some real artsy type of programming. And the Twilight Zone was born. Oh my goodness gracious. 156 episodes, 5 seasons. Just an amazing show. Rod Serling wrote or co-wrote 92 of them. And so many of the episodes from the Twilight Zone are so amazing and so iconic, right? You can remember some of those old episodes like, the monster on the wing of the plane or, the aliens on Maple Street, all the great episodes. It's such a great show that they've tried to bring it back twice. They tried it with Forrest Whitaker, and then a few years later, they tried it again with Jordan Peele. But it's those originals, man, from 1959 to 1964. Incredible. At number 11, I'm going with Twin Peaks, and I'm only doing it because of season 1. I hated season 2. Didn't care for the movie, but season 1 of Twin Peaks was the best television I've probably ever seen. And if there were more seasons like that, certainly would be ranked higher than 11. But the universe that David Lynch created on Twin Peaks, unlike anything I'd ever encountered, and I knew David Lynch. I watched Eraserhead and Dune and all those crazy movies he was doing, Blue Velvet, but I'd never seen anything like Twin Peaks. It totally got me. I was totally captivated. I needed to know who killed Laura Palmer. I absolutely did. They brought the show back in 2017 on Showtime, but it wasn't the same thing at all. Talking about shows that only had one season, I might have included Firefly. But they only really had one season. It was amazing. Then they put out a movie. But I digress. The top 10 awaits, boys and girls. And in the number 10 spot, I'm going with Star Trek. Oh, the original Star Trek from 1966 to 1969. Nobody saw this coming, right? 3 seasons on NBC. The ratings weren't great, so it gets canceled unceremoniously. And it lives on and on and on. 79 episodes, chronicling the adventures of the ship and crew of the starship NCC 1701. Oh, yeah, man. Come on, man. I've always been a Star Trek guy, never been a Star Wars guy, So you know where that is, man. At number 9. Oh, remember the WB? Oh, and then it turned into the CW. And they came up with absolute magic in 2005 when they cast Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki as Sam and Dean Winchester. Yeah, it's supernatural, man. 15 episodes, 15 seasons, 327 episodes. 15 seasons. They're talking about doing a season 16, but I don't know if that's really necessary. I think the ending was fine. The finale was fine. This was a show that was only supposed to go on for 5 seasons. They had it all kind of laid out, but it stayed good, man. Season 6 had, a different bad guy. Season 7, you had the Leviathan. So, every season they just added like a new layer to the story. And it was just, it got a little crazy and a little weird. Is Chuck God? I don't know if he is or not, but it turns out that Jack becomes the new God at the end. Whatever. It's amazing. I love Supernatural. At number 8, a show I started watching while I was incarcerated because it came on right after American Idol. And there was a girl from Fort Myers on American Idol, so everybody was watching it in the jailhouse in Fort Myers. But then as soon as it was over, they all went back to playing spades or whatever. And they left it on Fox, so I was able to get into a show called House. Oh, man, the drug-addicted genius doctor, right? This guy's addicted to Vicodin because he had a medical problem, but his brain is so huge that he can solve any medical mystery. It's fantastic. Hugh Laurie does an amazing job here. Omar Epps, Jennifer Morrison, Olivia Wilde, Amber Tamblyn. A lot of great people ran through here, but it was Hugh Laurie's depiction of this pathetic doctor and his drug addiction, and I loved it. I thought it was great. The ending was all right. If I look at these, if I'm rating series, I got to look at it from start to finish, and the finale, it left me a little cold. His best friend is dying, and they go out motorcycle riding. It was all right, not bad. At number 7, another HBO show. This one aired from 2002 to 2008. And it was always a critic's darling, but, it never did great numbers. We're talking about The Wire. Oh, The Wire was so good, man. Oh, there were 5 seasons of The Wire, only 60 episodes, but man, it's just jam-packed. It's the story of Baltimore, told from so many different angles. It is so interesting. Season 1 really zeroes in on the illegal drug trade. Season 2 is all about the port and, all the crazy stuff that happens with longshoremen. And season 3 was about the tomfoolery and bureaucracy at City Hall. Season 4 was about the education in the school system. And then season 5 was about the media and print media in particular. So looking at all the different entanglements and weird stuff that's going on from all different angles. What an amazing show. Well written, well acted, well directed. At number 6. Another HBO show. This one started in 1999 and ran all the way through 2007. And of course, we're talking about The Sopranos. Come on, man. The Sopranos were so good. And, we're talking about season finales here. Very, splits opinions, right? I mean, I didn't mind the ending, the fade to black thing, very, trying to figure out what's really going on, keeping it ambivalent and whatnot and vague. I get that. It's not the worst ending in the world, but I don't think it was quite good enough for all the awesomeness that had gone on since 1999. A little bit of a disappointment, but the story of Tony Soprano and his family and his cohorts and all the stuff they get into, just amazing. Why do we love gangsters so much? I don't understand it. But we as a society certainly do. At number 5, I'm going with Star Trek: The Next Generation. How do you make Star Trek even better? They did it, man. They did it from 1987 to 1994. This is the only entry on my list that was never on a actual network. This was in syndication, apparently, from day one. And come on, man. I just love all the little nods to original Star Trek. They did their homework all the way down to Jean-Luc Picard calling his next in command, calling him number 1, which is exactly what Captain Pike did in the pilot with Spock. Oh, so many great little things there. And if we're talking about finales, the best finale in the history of television was Star Trek: The Next Generation. 2-hour, 2-part finale, bringing Lieutenant Yar back, right? Denise Crosby, and you got the split timeline thing going. But in the end, I mean, all the way through the series, all these clowns were trying to get Captain Picard to play poker with them. And finally, the very last scene of the very last episode, Captain Picard shows up. He sits down and he's dealing, and he's like, deuces are wild and the sky's the limit. Come on, man. What a way to end a series. It doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. At number 4, I'm going with another HBO show. Oh, HBO for the win, I guess, here. Yeah, it's Game of Thrones. From 2011 to 2019, I mean, my brain exploded with the greatness of Game of Thrones. I did not read George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire, so I had no idea who these people were, what this story was all about. But, man, talk about compelling. I even like the House of the Dragon spinoff. I think that's a great show. But Game of Thrones was just special, man. I look forward to it every week, just waiting for Sunday night to come around so I can catch the new episode of Game of Thrones. And as we talk about finales, right, because that's very important to me. You got to stick the landing. And they did. I think they did. Some people didn't love it. Some people were unhappy that, Ira was the one that saves the day, and, the crippled boy is the one that ends up being king at the end. But it makes sense if you think about how the show started. It started with Jamie pushing Dude Man out the window, and, he thinks he's going to kill him, but he only cripples him and blinds him and whatnot. So it does make sense. 73 episodes of greatness, man. I love Game of Thrones. Yes, I do. At number 3, here's one a lot of people liked at first and then kind of lost interest in. ABC ran this show from 2004 to 2010. It ran for 6 seasons, and most people will tell you, yeah, seasons 1 and 2 were great, but after that, they're wrong. I'm talking about Lost. Lost stayed great all the way through to the end. Yeah, the finale wasn't what I wanted, right? I was a little disappointed with the ending. But I stayed with that show all the way through. I loved it. I don't care if there were, polar bears on tropical islands and smoke monsters and, islands that disappear and reappear. There's this thing called the willful suspension of disbelief, and Lost was probably the absolute best at creating that, at making that possible. From the very opening scene where you're looking at Matthew Fox's eyeball and then it pulls back and you see there's this plane crash. Come on, man. Lost was incredible. Lost was amazing, and I've got it at number 3. At number 2, my highest rated sitcom. Maybe should have been number 1, but again, I'm looking at, from season 1 all the way to the end, and I'm talking about Seinfeld. And I'm sorry, the first couple seasons of Seinfeld are not good. Go back and watch seasons 1 and 2. Not good, not funny, like really old, like, George is sounding more like Woody Allen than Jason Alexander. It's really weird. They couldn't figure out exactly what to do with the Elaine character. Cosmo Kramer hadn't become Cosmo Kramer yet. Season 3 got a little bit better, but then from then on out, seasons 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were absolutely incredible. Season 9 You saw a slight dip as Larry David left the ship, but he came back for a few episodes, and there were some great episodes in season 9. But the finale kind of leaves me cold, you know? It really does, because I've got these 4 main characters, and they're not acting like themselves, right? They go out of town. Finally, they're not in New York City. And all of a sudden, they start acting like animals. They start acting like, they're making fun of people and laughing at people for no reason. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. This was like they didn't even understand their own characters. It was terrible. They put them in jail for Good Samaritan laws, and we have the joke about the top button and whatnot. It was not a success. I didn't like it. In fact, it's the reason it's not number 1. A better finale would have put Seinfeld in the number 1 position. So that leaves me with my number 1 TV show of all time. And yes, boys and girls, it is Mad Men. And it does make sense because I am an ad guy. I am in advertising, so I definitely relate to the Don Draper character. I love the ensemble cast. I love all the nods to stuff that was going on throughout the late 50s and early 60s, that whole mid-century modern vibe. I love it. I absolutely dig that whole time, and to imagine being a big wig working in Manhattan during that time. Just so cool, so great. And we talk about finales, and no better finale than that Mad Men finale. I absolutely love it, where Don Draper comes up with an absolute masterpiece after kind of being, in the wilderness, kind of being a pariah. And he comes up with I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, the Coke campaign that took Coke over the top and left Pepsi in the dust. And I just love how a lot of the stuff they talk about in Mad Men was actually historical, actually did happen. And it was just a great show all the way around, and I really enjoyed it. So that's my number 1. Anyway, boys and girls, tomorrow I'm going to try to bust out a special episode. My wife's uncle died. And a couple days ago. His funeral's tomorrow. I'm going to try to put together an episode because his favorite artist of all time was Todd Rundgren. So I'm thinking about doing something special for Uncle Steve and his bereaved family about his favorite artist, Todd Rundgren. So join me then. Anyway, boys and girls, I love you. Peace in the Middle East. Free Tibet. Free the Ukraine. Free your mind. Free beer. Free Willie. And God save King Chucky the Third. 1, 2, 3. There's been 3 Chuckies that have worn that crown. Oh, one of them lost his head. Oh, I hope this one doesn't. Anyway, boys and girls, King Chucky needs some help. He needs some thoughts and prayers and spells and incantations, but more than anything, that boy needs some rattlesnakes. Oh no, he's got rattlesnakes all over the place. Oh, these are Ohio rattlesnakes. They're the most dangerous kind. Oh, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.